So welcome to this Four Pees Café. Today we'll be speaking on automating PDF generation using MadeToPrint. Today's presenter is Blaise. He is the Director of Professional Services and Support at Four Pees and our in-house Axio MadeToPrint expert. So I'll be giving the word over to him. Christian, take it away.
Thank you, Sam. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining today for that session on MadeToPrint and the automation of MadeToPrint. So let me hide that thing. Yeah. So the things that we are going to do today, I will introduce shortly myself, although Sam already did, I think. I don't need to say more. I will talk about the use case I'm going to cover today. So I'm not going to present the whole product, but really talking about a specific use case. And I'll show you the demo of that use case, and then we'll get back to the different products that have been used there and that are available in that product range. And then we'll have the question and answer session. Obviously, if you have a question during the presentation, you just have to, as Sam said, post that in the chat or just speak up. We can cover that during the demo or at the end of the presentation, as I said. So I'm Christian Blaise, and as Sam said, I'm the Director of Professional Services and Support at Four Pees. So taking care of all the technical team where we have the people that are doing the implementation, analysis, and new projects for our customers, as well as the people in the support team who are giving help to our client resellers and end users. So today, the use case I'm going to cover is how to manage multiple versions of a document. So on that use case, I actually created an InDesign document where you will see you have different variants of the document on different pages. And I will use also different languages. Actually, here I have 3 variants and 3 languages in that document. And then what I have to do is I've been asked to provide PDF with different combination of those variants and languages. So when I want to do that, I mean, the problem is like when you have a lot of layers and you have to go from one version to another one, and you just use what is built in InDesign, then it's quite long and annoying because you have to activate some of the layers, you have to deactivate other ones. So that's, you know, quite of a long process. And also afterwards, if you have to create a different combination of PDF, then that means that you have to activate the layers that you want. Then you have to generate that PDF with the setting that you wanted to have that combination. And then you need to name the files differently each time. And then there's the next combination and you start over. So it's a very long process and it's cumbersome. It's not easy to make no mistakes. And this is where by using MadeToPrint, and actually Made for Layer, which is also another product from Axio, but Made for Layers is included into MadeToPrint. So if you have MadeToPrint, you have also Made for Layers. With this, it's going to help you creating and using and also reusing the combination that you made on several documents. And then afterwards, using MadeToPrint, you will be able to generate a specific set of a combination of layers variants by just, you know, one click. And this will take care of the PDF settings that you have for the export, the naming convention, and you can even apply some post actions like preflight or imposition. And I will show you that during the demo. So enough slides.
We already have a first question even before you have started the demo. Okay. Matteo is asking, is it possible to control conditional text via MadeToPrint in order to consider it individually in the PDF output?
René, maybe that is one of the questions you could jump in because that's one of the advanced features that I'm not going to show here. And I'm not even sure that this is feasible.
Yeah, so the use case would be interesting. I'm also not totally sure if it's possible, but yeah, if we have a little bit more of insight what actually has to be done, we can have a look if that's actually possible already, or maybe even in a later version.
So Matthias, please feel free to send your questions to us, meaning Four Pees and Axayo, and we will have a look on that and get back to you if it's a matter of settings or doing some scripting inside the current product, or if this is something that could be listed as a feature, a new feature. No other questions? Okay, so let's go on the demo. Okay, so here I have prepared some files. So for that demonstration, I'm going to use InDesign, but I will show you in the list of products that there are all other products that also work with that MadeToPrint. So here, what I'm showing you, let me close that window. I have 3 labels actually on different pages. I have the California version, I have the sushi version, and I have the maki version. So these are the 3 variants that I have from that document. And if I go on my layers, as you can see, I have the text here in English, but I can also show the French version or the Dutch version of that document. So that means that I have like 9 combinations based on the 3 variants and the 3 languages. As you can see here, every time that I want to change something, like I want to show the English, I have to, shut down the NL layer, and I have to activate the other one, etc. So it's kind of, long. And here it's again quite easy because I only have a small combination of layers, but I will show you at the end of the demo a more complex file, and you will see that it's even more interesting. So here, what I'm going to use is Made for Layers. As I mentioned, Made for Layers is included into MadeToPrint, but is also available as a separate product. And here on Made for Layers, what you have is here you have the combination of the different layers that you have, and you can create what is called a layer view, which is a combination of different layers. So let's do here, I have like that background image and I have that English, and I'm going to generate layer view. And now I'm going to say, let's do another one for the French. So I'm activating the layers I need. And then let's do one for the Dutch version. Now the difference is that I have now those layers view, and if I actually click on one of them, as you can see, it automatically changes, and you can see here that it deactivates what needs to be deactivated and activates what is needed. So here it's really easy to jump from one to the other. And obviously when you did that, you don't want to do that on all of the documents, and this is where you can actually export those settings, and you can apply them again on a new document. So if you have like a specific set, and it's usually the languages is one of them, you can have your set that is already prepared, and you just have to like import a setting. And here I could actually have pointed to the one that I already did, and then I could have done that without having to do that myself right now. So here I did all of these settings. This is where I can make the change. I can also just show the different thing, or even having a easier user interface once it has been set up, where I just have a drop down to jump from one to the other. So that's Made for Layers, very basic, but very useful. Combination with that is now that I have something where I have all my layers prepared, and then I can make the modification on my document and more easily jump from one to another set, which I'm not going to do here, but like this is something where you can start from on a new document. Here I'm going to use MadeToPrint. So in MadeToPrint, hidden over here, in MadeToPrint, I have the different settings, and I'm going to show different use cases today based on the same basic idea. You have that panel where you can actually pick some of the settings and just click run, and that's it. Once it has been set up, by the way, you can even go here and say, you know, you pick one of these and it's done. So it's one click away once it has been set up. So let's get back to MadeToPrint. And I will go into the different settings so you can see what you can do. So I will detail quite extensively for the first one, and then for the other ones I will only explain the differences so we don't go through all of the settings. So basically you give a name, and then for the output you select what kind of output you're going to do. So here we're going to focus on PDF, although I have one example with images. But as you can see, you can do a lot of things like legacy, PostScript, or EPS, but you can also do PDF or interactive PDF if you're not doing print, different image formats, and then like IDML and InDesign to do a package of the InDesign. You can do EPUB, or you can even have no output. So that's the first thing. So if I pick PDF, then the setup is that basically I pick one of the settings that I have on my export setting of InDesign. And then you can also have a set of pages here, but that's probably not useful here because you can control that also over here. So first of all, you select what you want to do. File name. So basically everywhere in the product, you actually have what is called tokens. So there are a lot of variables that you can pick to generate names on the fly. So here, for example, I have a fixed path that I actually created. So in the result, I will go into a folder that is called one page and one layer view. So basically, this is what I'm going to do with that setting. I'm going to generate one page I'm going to create a PDF of one page corresponding of one variant and one language. So at the end, I will get like the 9 versions. And here for the name, I actually used those tokens. So as you can see, I use first of all the document name, and you have here the preview of the result. So I use the document name, then underscore the layer name view. So I'm going to use one of the views that I have here. Underscore page dash the page number, and I'm going actually to use the padding. So here I'm using the right thing. So just having the page number on 3 characters. So this is why here I have 003. And then I'm going to have the output file extension, which in that case is PDF. For the pages, and I actually picked here that I want a single page output, which means that I'm going to have a 1-page PDF, which is exactly what I wanted. And in the layers, I'm actually outputting each layer view separately. And this is why I will get, by the combination of those two, 1 page, 1 language on all of the PDFs. There are other settings here, but I will go over them later on. So let's say that I'm going to do that. So if I do the run, then this has been done by MadeToPrint. If I go back here in the results, you can see that it has created that folder. And inside, I have like 9 versions of the PDFs. So you can see that here, let me hide the floating bar. I have the English version of the California, and then I have second file, English and sushi, English and maki, French California, French sushi, French maki, and Dutch California sushi and maki. So by just 1 click, I actually generated the 9 PDF out of my unique InDesign file. And as you can see, the naming also has been applied. So I have the page number and I have the language that is in the name. Second example I want to show is something that is similar, but where I want to have 1 document per page. So I mean 1 variant. And then I want to have all of the layers inside that document. So that means that I will keep all of the languages in all of the files, and this is basically the only difference. The output is going to be the same. I'm going to use another folder to do that. But here I'm going to have a single page output, but I want to have all of the layers. So that means that here, if I run that, I actually get 3 files now. And if I open one of them, so here you can see that what I have here now is one file where I kept all of the layers. So I can still jump from one to the other by just activating or deactivating. By the way, here, if you have Kala's PDF toolbox, you have the same concept than the Made for layers, where you can also have those layers view. So you can build them or you can apply one that has been done already, which is what I have here. And now I can actually do the same then in InDesign with Made for layers. I can jump from one to the other, which is actually doing different combination of the layers. Okay, let's get back to InDesign. Third example that I'm going to do here, again with the same file, is this time I want to get actually all of the variants in the PDF, but I want to have only one language. So same idea, just having the PDF export, putting this into a specific folder. I have nothing in the pages in that case, because I want to get all of the pages of the document. And in the layers, I want to have each layer view separately. That means that if I now use that one, the result is going to be 3 PDFs again, but I have all of the different variants, but one per language. So here, as you can see, I have the English for the 3 one, I have the French, and I have the Dutch. So again, same file, different configuration, generation of all of the different files using a specific combination, and with just one click and the correct file naming convention. And the last one I'm going to show here is actually having one document that is reflecting what we have in InDesign, basically. So I will directly run it. And what I get here is only, obviously, one file where it contains 3 pages for the 3 different variants and the different layers. So again, here, if I want to make my life easier, I can use that again and apply the different settings, and then I can jump from one to the other. Okay. So this is already nice, because here, like having all of the files have been done into one InDesign file, which helps by using all of the features that you have in InDesign for having, all of the templates that are applied and having things that are going through the pages, and everything is collated into one document. But you can have different exports because for some reason you want to have one type or the other type. This is really easily done. If I go here back, I have other options that I want to show you today. Like here, you can also generate images, as I said before. So I'm just going to do mostly the same idea than the first one. So it's, one page and one layer, but I'm using the TIFF export. And so here, what I chose, it could be anything else. I chose actually here to have an RGB file. I chose to have a fixed size on the output, but I could have also picked the resolution. You can say if you want to smooth some stuff, and here, because it's a TIFF, what is the kind of compression that you want to use? I'm actually going to close that completely, so you can see that, as I said before, you can also directly do that from here, so you don't have to open the panel if you know exactly what you're doing. So if I do that, InDesign is actually going to generate those TIFF files. So here, this is what I have. So again, I have the 9 files. And if I open one of them, you'll see here that this is exactly what I requested. This is RGB, and this is 640 pixels by 640 pixels TIFF file. So that could also be useful if you want to generate like thumbnails or those kind of things that you might need if you putting your PDF on a DAM, or if you go into a validation system or anything like that. Going back to the PDF world, I have another example here where actually on top of what I have here, I also actually used some imposition. So here the imposition engine that we're using is the one from Callas. And that means that here what I actually ask is to separate per document, per variant per language. So I'm going to have 9 documents, but I also asked to have an imposition and have those 8 labels on one page each. What I used here in the post process is only I want to show that you can also open directly the PDF after the export has been done. So let me do that now. So here, MadeToPrint is going to drive the export into 9 different files, the same that we had before, and then do the imposition, and then you'll get the impost file at the end. So this is what I have here. So let me show you that. So it actually adds done the imposition of 8 instances of the label, put some text, etc. And it did that for all of the variants. So here, French and English, and here is the sushi Dutch, sushi French, sushi English, etc. And same for California. So this has been done really easily by just one click, as you can see. So this is fast, this is easy, and you're sure that it gives always the same result because you don't have any manual input. Last example that I want to show here with MadeToPrint directly, and then I'll go back to another example. I will also use here one file. So on that one, what I actually did is I made a mistake where I actually add a text here that doesn't have the overprint. So that means that this is going to generate a problem on the output. So from that file, I actually have here one with the fix. I can show that actually here. So what I have on that one is here I'm also applying some PDF Preflight. So this is done by the Callas engine. And so here I'm going to overprint the black and generate the report when the file is okay and not okay in both cases in that case. So I will generate that file, and this is what I have here. So if I look at the report, so the black has been overprinted, and I can check that if I go here and go to the overprint preview. So here, where's that window? Here, come on. And you can see that if I remove the black, I don't have the knockout anymore. So this has been fixed during the process. And this is something that you can do in MadeToPrint. Is I actually here used the PDF post process with some Preflight, but you can see that here I can also use some Preflight from MadeToPrint where you can check the link, check the fonts, etc. You can also use the InDesign Preflight, so you can use the built-in feature of InDesign for the Preflight, and you can use the PDF preflight afterwards. So there are many ways of doing the preflight. The last example I wanted to show is actually the first one we had before in terms of the use case, but with a more complex file. So on that file, where I actually already applied the different settings, I have more sets here. And the idea is on that file, I actually have a cut mask, which shows how the label looks like when it's finished. And I also have like the cut line and the real file where you can see the technical aspects. So this is why I made different views, like what is called here the EN technical. So this is the one where I see the cut line and the document in English. I have the same with the cut mark. And I can do here the same with French and same with Dutch. So as you can see here, when I want to jump like from here where I have the technical view in Dutch and I want to see the final simulation in English, then here I have to deactivate that one, activate this one, deactivate that one, activate this one, and this starts to be quite annoying. And this is obviously much faster here. If I use the setting that I had before, where I want to have one document per page and one per layer view. So here I want to have like the 3 variants, and I want to have the 3 languages, but I also want to combine that with what has been I called technical view, and one that I called let's say marketing view or finish view. Then if I do that, this is going to generate like 18 documents. So again, if you want to do that manually, this is going to take you ages. And here, as you can see, I have all of these 18 documents that have been generated on the fly. And you can see that I have the English finished for California, maki, and sushi and maki, and technical for California, sushi, maki. And then I have the same with the French, and the same with the Dutch version. So this is really, really fast and really easy to use. Let's get back to the presentation now to talk about the products and what I used here and what is available in the range of Axio for MadeToPrint. So the products I used is actually made for layers to be able to create and to apply the layer sets in the application. So here was InDesign, but I'm going to show you where it's available. And as I told you, Made for Layers is included into MadeToPrint. And for MadeToPrint, the version I used here is the standard version, but there's also an auto version, which is hot folder based, and a server version. I can actually show you quickly the auto version. I will just remove all those files here. And here for the auto version, I have actually the hot folders. If I go back to InDesign, let me close that. You have into MadeToPrint, if you bought the auto version, you have auto where you can have different sets. And actually those different sets are pointing to one of the actions that you have in the standard. And you also have the hot folders that you want to use for that one. So let's start MadeToPrint Auto. So you see here, this is the scanner that is looking at the file that are coming. And here, if I select one of the files and I just put that into the in, this is going actually to drive MadeToPrint without any human intervention, do all of the different things that are in the MadeToPrint setting. And as you can see here, I have the results. They are coming because that's the one with the impose, so it's longer. But here you can see that you have all of the files that have been generated by the auto version. So this is what I have here. That's the auto version, and then there is one for the server, for InDesign Server. So basically for MadeToPrint Standard, this is a plugin or an extension for the authoring tools, and that can automate the process from those apps. So it's available for InDesign, Illustrator, and InCopy, and it's an extension for Quark Express as well. For the auto version, it's auto folder based, so that can be, that can automate the whole process without having to do that manually from the authoring application. So for the Adobe InDesign version, it's the auto folder, and you also have an end-focus switch configurator, so you can also control that within a switch flow that is doing other things as well. And you also have editorial systems like Vune K4, Woodwind Studio, and Von Gennep Blend System 4 that can use a specific version of MadeToPrint. And there is also a job ticket mode for MadeToPrint Auto. There's also one version for Adobe Illustrator, and there's one for Quark Express, which also contains the switch configurator, and that works also with the Quark publishing platform. Last one is MadeToPrint Server. So this one uses Adobe InDesign CC Server, and actually this version includes a limited version of the InDesign Server, and this is available for InDesign CC Server and the Switch configurator to drive that InDesign Server from within Switch. And it's also available for the same editorial systems that we talked before, and the ticket mode as well. Any questions?
At the moment, there are no questions in chat yet. However, everybody, please use the chat or unmute yourself to speak up if you would have any further questions, either for Christian or for the Axio people available here now, René and then Karina. They will be happy to answer your questions if you would have any.
So when there are no questions, it's obviously like it was so clear or it was so uninteresting. Really, people, no questions? Things like you want to share? Is it the kind of the use case that I showed today is something that you experience in your life? And do you have any idea of like this would be able to solve the issues that you had or make the process less painful? No, not really, no questions.
I'm going to go that it was very clear, Christian.
No, I think that people are really shy. Obviously. Yeah, so we were quite fast as well, so.
I think so. I think if there are no more questions, then Christian, I'm going to thank you for the presentation. René, Karina, thank you as well for taking part. And of course, like I said, this recording will be coming on our YouTube channel from 4Ps. You'll also be receiving an email from the moment that it is live, so you can rewatch it, use it to train yourself in using MadeToPrint further. I will also be sharing it with René and Karina to use on their channels. And then the only thing I can say is thank you, and I look forward to meeting you all in next week's 4 Pees Café, where we will again have a guest speaker. We will have people from 3C PDF joining us, explaining their platform, which is an app that helps to easily create error and correction reports on PDFs. Behind that is also, of course, the Calas PDF toolbox. So we will also have our CTO, David van Driessen, joining us for the technical side on PDF toolbox, which is behind there. And the week afterwards, we will have one more 4 Pees Café, which will be on PDF toolbox with the REST API that we have created for them. More information to follow on that. For the rest, if you would have any further questions after this webinar, you have our contact details. Please contact Christian, please contact René or Karina if you have any further questions. If you would like a demo of one of the products, also feel free to reach out to us. I think we'll be happy to demo it further for you and send us your demo files that we can use for that demo itself. And then I can just say thank you and hope you have a great evening.
Thank
Bye.
you very much for joining. Bye-bye.